Hello to everybody. I'm Vladimir Vlad, aka the Bulgarian Cowboy, and we're going to talk about the potential fight between Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero, which is set to headline UFC 248. Well, it will happen soon, ladies and gentlemen, and I've got to say, this fight is gonna rock. This would be really, really much entertaining bout, but looking back at the dimensions of that fight, looking back at everything, I just want to say that Israel Adesanya is definitely the biggest surprise in the history of UFC middleweight division, at least for me, because he came with a striking background and he won everybody in his way. He's still undefeated, holds that title, and this will probably be the biggest test of his career because he meets Yoel Romero, Yoel Palacio Romero, probably the toughest guy in the UFC middleweight division, the guy with the most powerful strikes. People are probably wondering who's gonna win because it really is a 50-50 battle. In general, Romero has better wrestling while Adesanya has better striking, right? That's what most of you are going to say, right? Well, not exactly. I want to go into a deeper analysis of every single fighter, and I want to analyze all the fighters thoroughly. Looking back at Israel Adesanya, he has, you can freely say, kicks and punches from hell. He has very, very much powerful strikes, and Israel Adesanya is generally a guy with a devastating, brutal punches, with the strong and quick punches. Yeah, he's not just strong; he's quick. Looking back at his results and TKOs, he mostly rocked everybody with his left hook, right hook, straight punch, but also a big head kick. The guy comes with a kickboxing and taekwondo background, and looking back at his kicks, it's a really, really devastating kick expert. Looking back at Israel Adesanya, maybe people forgot that he trained taekwondo when he was a younger guy, and that's something we mustn't miss here. Looking back at his result, Adesanya in his last battle, you know that he stopped Robert Whittaker with that 1-2, and yeah, his nasty, devastating blows are his punches, which are also his trademark. Looking back at the match versus Anderson Silva, we've seen that the guy has a taekwondo knowledge. He can fight from a close range, but from a long range too. And looking back at Kelvin Gastelum, we've seen that he is vulnerable at that strong left high kick. You know that Kelvin Gastelum rocked him so hard with that kick, but he made a mistake looking for that takedown attempt, which didn't go well for him because Adesanya was stuck on the cage and he was able to recover. Adesanya was going down in some fights, but he closes the guard, he remains in the full guard, and he gets up, which is all right. It's okay. It's great. For Adesanya, it's great. But this could be a problem against Yoel Romero because when Romero takes you down, you'll very, very hardly get up. You know that Lyoto Machida was struggling hard to get up against him, and Yoel Romero is a beast from half guard and full guard. I don't even want to think about mount. On the other side, Israel Adesanya finished the majority of his opponents via knees and punches or via stoppage. He fought to split decision versus Marvin Vettori and finished Rob Wilkinson. In his earlier matches against You Are There, if you remember that fight, he stopped him with a great head kick. But now let's analyze the loopholes in Yoel Romero's game. The first and the biggest loophole is his weight, of course. Yoel Romero cuts a lot of weight, which means his cardio is going to be critical probably for that match, while Romero will probably have a hard time dealing with Israel's movements. Yoel Romero has first 2 or 3 explosive strikes, explosive takedown attempts, and so on. The problem is because Yoel Romero gets gassed because of that major weight cut. It's not good. But against Adesanya, you simply mustn't get gassed. This guy never gets gassed. And this is the first problem for Yoel Romero, of course, if he passes the scale. But I hope this time he will. He failed the weight on many occasions, and I honestly hope that this is not going to happen. The next big problem for Adesanya might be Romero's guard, because Romero is not the guy who holds his hands narrow. Romero does it like this, a bit wider, which is a problem for Adesanya's side kicks and taekwondo strikes. He'll have to pay attention to front kicks, knees. Okay, knees are good, but front kicks and spinning back kicks are not pretty much a part of Adesanya's game, despite his really, really devastating striker. But Adesanya could look for his chance off the distance with his long-range punches, which are quicker than Romero's. Of course, Romero strikes harder, no doubt on that. Looking back at Adesanya's kickboxing record, he was only knocked out once with that devastating left hook to Alex Pereira, but he knocked out Bogdan Stoica via middle kick, and Karl Ndiaye, he's also one of the legends of this sport. There were many stoppages, I mean, KOs, TKOs, but Adesanya, he's rocking opponents with his devastating punches, you know. His punches are so, so good. And in kickboxing, when you're knocked down 4 times, the match is stopped. It's not like in the UFC, the difference exists between the rules. Looking back at Yoel Romero's score, you know that he is an Olympic wrestler. His abilities inside the UFC have earned him several comparisons to the greats of the sport. You know that Yoel Romero actually has several notable victories against former world champions, as well as his rivalry with Australian former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker. You all know that there were no trash talk and so on, but this guy was just a beast, man. Even in the freestyle record, wow, this guy competed in the Olympic Games for Cuba. You must respect this guy for his actions. You must respect everything he did for this sport. Looking back at his results, he is not a typical wrestler. Yes, he has good wrestling, but Yoel Romero knows to strike. He has strong punches. He's not a combo guy. 1, 2. Actually, I've never seen him throwing 3 punches in a row. Unfortunately, I've never seen him doing that. So I must look back at his results, claiming that the only real KO loss came to Rafael Cavalcante at the Strikeforce. After that, in a middleweight debut, he literally annihilated Clifford Starks with that flying knee and punches, finished Ronnie Marques via KO, TKO Derek Brunson. Brad Tavares was a decent opponent, but unable to parry him. Yoel Romero was taking almost every opponent down, finishing with a barrage of punches or elbows. Ronaldo Souza fought to a split decision. He even finished Chris Weidman, a strong guy, Chris Weidman. He even finished him with that devastating flying knee. And it opened up some new sights for Yoel Romero. He became a bit much of a different fighter. It opened up a chance to fight Robert Whittaker for the interim UFC middleweight title, and despite it was a fight of the night, he lost via unanimous decision. Then he literally destroyed the greatest trash talker in this category, the former greatest trash talker, Volker Rockhold. Even kissed him after the fight, changing the expression of hate with the expression of love. Later, he fought Robert Whittaker again, but it was a non-title bout as Romero missed weight. Then he lost to Paulo Costa via unanimous decision in a very, very controversial match, but Paulo Costa hurt himself, and now Romero gets a chance to fight Israel Adesanya. Looking back at Romero, he has to go for an early takedown. I haven't seen Israel Adesanya sprawling much or defending takedowns with the knee. He is defending takedowns in a completely different manner, and that different manner is actually his lovely movement and his lovely way to stop the incoming strikes and to circle around the opponent, which is kind of something I pretty much enjoy at his video game. Yeah, when I was playing UFC, I was kind of enjoying with Yoel Romero because he was able to parry such guys. But you know what's the biggest fact here? This is not a video game. Adesanya will try to circle, that's for sure. Adesanya will try to keep Yoel Romero off the range. Yoel Romero defends head kicks well, and he defends kicks well in general because of his stance of his hands keeping like this, not tucked to the face. Adesanya on the other side, I'm not sure whether he got used to that type of the opponents. You know that Gastelum confused him on many occasions with this, and I hope Romero could do the same thing. But generally, Adesanya has way better striking, but one punch knockout. If it happens, if Romero punches him to the face and knocks him out, just don't be surprised. On the other side, I think Adesanya will not go to the ground at all. He will look for the chance to finish this fight via devastating punch to the head, via probably a low kick or whatever. But Adesanya attacks from the distance. If Romero is on the ropes, Adesanya could easily destroy him if he pays attention to his gameplay. On the other side, Romero, he simply has to shoot in. He simply has to go for a double underhook or whatever. I mean, Pumelin is not a good way to stop Adesanya because he is a master of the clinch, but double underhooks could make a big pressure, even a single leg takedown, double leg takedown, but it's hard to get him close. So my expectations, if Adesanya keeps the fight standing, I believe he's gonna win. He's better striker than Costa, way better, the former Glory middleweight champion. But on the other side, if Romero takes him down, I don't want to say Adesanya cannot scramble up. Maybe he can, but this will be a very, very tough call for Israel Adesanya. This will be a very, very tough experience, and I pretty much believe that he'll really have a very, very hard time against this opponent with probably the best body in the division. All right, it's a death race between him and Paulo Costa, but yeah, this will be an amazing battle, ladies and gentlemen. It can end in the first round. It can last for 5 rounds. You never know. But this middleweight title bout will show whether a real kickboxer like Israel Adesanya got used to UFC fighting style, and we'll see how everything goes. But I'm pretty much sure this will be one of the most entertaining battles to watch. Romero will go for a one-punch knockout. He won't waste too much energy, while Adesanya will try to circle to keep him on distance, collect points, and maybe even turn the lights out on the Cuban wrestler.